Is this thing live? Hello, and welcome to Therapy of the Absurd, episode 61.
Wow.
I know, right? Almost there. Almost. We're going. We're moving along.
All right.
Let's introduce our guest and bring her on right away if we can.
Right. Okay. I just had something to fall over in my studio. Hold on.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
That's
it's okay.
okay.
Oh my God, two things fell. Shoot.
Oh no.
Oh,
That's
my
okay. Nishy will be right back. She shipped out really quick.
God.
All I know is I am tripping off of this Johnny Depp. I don't know if you've heard anything about the Johnny Depp stuff.
Well, just a little bit. Also, speaking of people separating from their situations, my favorite show, Jason Sudeikis, the people, his wife was on, ex-fiance was on stage at, what do you call that? CinemaCon, and they served her on stage in the middle of her presentation.
Wow. Okay,
And
that's uncalled for. That's
weird. I feel as though I'm willing to bet a lot of money. I'm willing to bet all the tea in China that is not what he wanted, and that that he didn't. I mean, and I know these things can be difficult, but I'll say for me, I have a hard time believing that a fellow artist, the mother of your children, because they have 2 kids, that you would
I hear you. I got served right in front of my daughter, man. I got served in front of my daughter.
I know, I get that, but I just feel like they could have at least waited till she got off stage. Anything. And
no, I feel you.
Yeah, and I just struggle with the idea that he might have what was I gonna say?
No, I hear what you're saying. Because I know that I'm gonna actually get served 3 times. I've only been served twice. I got 1 more to go, which I think is hilarious. And they can serve you anywhere. But they asked me if I wanted to serve her at work. And what was crazy is how they were smiling when they asked me that. It almost felt like the aggressive breastfeeding doctors at the hospital when my daughter was born. You have to. It was like the cult of breastfeeders. You have to breastfeed. You have to. And so,
here's the thing. I love it. It is a cult, but but here's the thing. I won't lie. I'm trying to find something to wipe something with, so I apologize for all the looks around.
Oh no, you're good. But the
breastfeeding thing is no joke.
Oh no, yeah. But they, it was really intense. They're like, so, want to serve your wife at work? Huh? And and I was like, how much does that cost? Right, and then when he said the price, I was like, wow. Can I hand it to
her? That's interesting.
I think it's like, I could be wrong, but I could have sworn he said like anywhere between $350 to $500.
How much is it to serve her if she's not at work?
Then okay, so here's the cheapest way, at least the cheapest way that we found it, was we find an off-duty officer and have them agree to like $75.
Oh, okay.
That's the cheapest way. But if you cannot, or you got priors and you're not trying to talk to any popo, then then you're gonna have to pay several $100. It's a big business.
It has to be.
Oh, it's crazy. It's so crazy. But yeah, so I'm still due to get served more time. But I agree with you. If someone is at work or on stage somewhere performing or doing a something, yeah, that's just weird to have them get served literally live in front of thousands of people. That's just crazy.
And why are you going to get served 3 times?
Okay, so the first one, the paperwork got canceled because there were quote unquote mistakes. Yeah.
I don't even know what that means when you say.
Okay, so basically, when everyone gets emotional or angry and they go to a lawyer, the lawyers feed on that and they try to essentially get you to agree to put certain things in these contracts or these papers you're going to be served, because they're trying, I hate to say it, I was just reading a lot of articles and listening to things, but the more they can get you to agree to, the more they can keep you in their service, or you paying them really. It's in their best interest to really give you a lot of uncertainty and fear. So that way you almost agree to pretty much anything. So one of the things in there, and I don't mind sharing because whatever, was no alimony, like at all.
Wait, what do you mean that you wouldn't pay alimony or she
No,
wouldn't?
that I wouldn't get any, because I'm considered by my situation, I'm considered the mother of the situation, because I'm the one that worked from home, had the baby, and, well, I didn't give birth. Let's be real. Mothers are more awesome for doing so. But I was the one at home working, on the computer, taking care of the baby, and then also taking care of my autistic brother while also, doing the laundry, washing the dishes, vacuuming, everything. And so in the court's eyes, then I'm basically looked at as a woman. If that sounds weird or makes any sense, I don't know,
Okay.
but that flipped the, I don't know. But that's, so there was stuff that was in the original paperwork that she's saying that she didn't agree to, or some nonsense. But honestly, let's keep it real. In the heat of battle, or in the heat of emotions, we do and say shit when we're really angry that we regret later, right? We don't necessarily do things that are sound, logical, or rational. So, but it's all right. I'll give her the benefit of the doubt. So that got canceled, and then she had to go and refile. I forget what the hell that cost, and then pay an officer, and then a policeman had to come to our apartment, to the door, with my daughter. We're doing her homework, for me to get paperwork.
Wow.
But I think the first time was the weirdest, because I wouldn't open the door. I didn't know who it was. They wouldn't tell me who they were. That was a very fun conversation, right?
That was
I'm
weird.
like, hello, who is it? And they're like, sir, can you just open the door?
No, I cannot.
Right? And he's like, I just need you to open the door. You just sign this real quick for me. I'm like, I usually don't open the door for strangers. So like, what is it that you need? I'm not, if you're selling books or whatever, I'm not interested, or something, I said. And he's like, no, I really need you to open the door. And then eventually he slightly kind of slipped with what he was doing there. And then I was just like, okay, I already know what this is. And that was probably, I think, the most emotional for me, because I've never been served shit in my life.
Right.
Maybe like jury papers.
Wow.
But no, I agree with you. Getting served on stage while you're at a Comic-Con is extremely embarrassing.
I think it's called CinemaCon or what, but
Or
it's
CinemaCon.
a convention nonetheless.
Oh, that's the one in Vegas. That's the one.
Yeah.
In Vegas.
Yeah, that's what I was reading. It's in Vegas.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's crazy. And the third time I get served will be because the paperwork finally got finalized. So now she has to pay another police officer $75.
Oh
yeah. It's
so there's always at least two, is what you're
usually
thinking.
two, one to begin it and then one for its finalized. Finalized.
There's always two.
But because one got canceled,
because I don't know anything, then
no, you're good,
I don't know what's unusual.
I hope nobody experiences what I've experienced.
Right. So three is unusual. 2 is normal, though.
Yeah, 2 is normal. 3 is not normal at all.
Okay.
And so that's yeah.
Wow.
But again, like I said, I don't wish that on anybody. It is not fun being served. And I'll say this, because I still got to write a joke about this. So I'm glad we talked about this and it came back to me, because it wasn't in my head. She was so adamant that I did not need to serve her. In reverse, she's like, you do not need to serve me. I don't need any paperwork to she's like, we can do it a certain way. You don't need to serve me, Stefan. and then she kind of got in her feelings a little bit, and she's like, yeah, I know you want to serve me.
Wow. I don't like, it's still very mysterious. And here's the thing, I don't necessarily want the mystery solved, but it's very mysterious, because ultimately, like, you deserve alimony because you're taking care. Well, okay, alimony and child support are two different things.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So yeah, I can't speak to it. Like, yeah, but I think if you're the primary support of the child, then it's tough. I think it's tough. It's hard to judge. Wow. I just, like, there's definitely There's got to be some humor in that.
Oh no, there's
gotta be some humor in that. I mean, like for
yeah.
me, because I'm a kid of the 70s, the big divorce of the 70s was Johnny Carson. And when he divorced and she got half of everything, like that was the half heard around the world. Like people still make jokes about half, and a lot of people, because everybody's so young, they have no idea that literally came from, because that was unprecedented. Like it was, we were still in a time where entertainment news wasn't the main news. We didn't know everybody's business, and other than like, unless a celebrity was caught in something really challenging, you just didn't really know other stuff. But his divorce, that made news. That was huge. Richard Pryor was like, I mean, literally, quote unquote, because these are not my words. He was like, "Bitch ain't told nan joke, and she gets half." Like that was Richard Pryor's joke about the Johnny Carson situation.
No, yeah, it's it gets you know, if you don't have kids and you get divorced, it's so fucking easy. The moment you have a child, holy shit. And that's the thing going in, that both sides have to understand, that they really don't understand. This is something I'm gonna drop a truth bomb it's crazy as shit. Like I said earlier, it's in their best interest for you to have uncertainty and fear. Why? Because
the lawyers, when you say they, you're talking about the lawyers. You gotta don't use the pronouns, because there's a whole lot of these and days and he's and
that's
him.
True. That's true. So the lawyers, as far as the spouse, you know, the husband and the wife, it's in their best interest to keep them both in fear and uncertainty, because the longer it's drawn out, the more money they get. And there's no discussion really of anyone telling anybody, you know, what things are going to cost up front. You know, the entrance fee to get into the park, about 3,500 to 5 G's. But, you know, like it was explained to me, if you want to win, which call me broke ass, but if you want to win, it's, you know, you're looking $10,000 to $20,000.
Which sucks, because in this, this is the game in which there are no winners. This is the game.
The child is the one who suffers the most, no matter what.
Yeah, so it's just about who's going to get the best settlement, the best outcomes for themselves. But there's no winner.
Who's stuck with the bill?
You know, yeah, like there's no winners here.
No, I agree.
Well, I look forward to your jokes about it all. I look forward to the humor that you find in the pain of it all. But we have a great guest that we're super excited about. One of my sisters in comedy, for real, like so amazing. She hosts Third World Comedy once monthly at Flappers. It's been selling out, as I understand it. And she is just an amazing and funny comedian, high energy. I'm still going to call her a new mother. I know that her baby is a year, but that's still in my book because I've been a mother. And I just celebrated 20 years of motherhood, a la his 20th birthday. I know what it means to be a new mother. So it's like the scarlet letter. It's like you never lose the letter. Like you are always I'm not going to say you are stained or scarred, but you are certainly forever impacted by that. And even though he's not a newborn, I feel like you still tell jokes, you still whatever. So welcome to the stage, one of our favorites, first time to the show, Nishy XL. Woo, woo.
Hey, oh my gosh. I'm on an episode where we're talking about alimony and divorce.
We don't want no parts of it. We don't want no parts of it. We want those vibrations to go on out. We don't want any parts of it.
I mean, are my in-laws' ears burning right now or what? Because I'm going to get some phone calls. What? First you talk about my son being poor and you call him a poor white, and now this.
Ooh.
Oh, congratulations, sad. So, I mean, I don't know if it's sad or happy, but I don't. It seems like it's both at the same time. So, and hard, but yeah, thank you for having me today. Is what I want to say.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Oh yes. What do you think, Nishi, of the nice lady being served on stage her divorce papers?
On stage.
Right. So Jason Sudeikis, our beloved Ted Lasso, he and his fiance. That's why I brought it up. Comedian, actor. Okay. That's why I brought it up.
I heard you before, but now I really heard you. Now.
Oh yeah, Olivia Wilde they've been engaged for like 7 or 8 years. They got 2 kids, and but they're not it's not about to happen. The marriage is not going down. So she got served while on stage in Vegas presenting during CinemaCon.
That's hard. No, he meant that.
What?
I'm gonna tell you what. Okay, and after you said who he is, and then knowing who she is, and I don't know all her background, but some of it. No, he did that on purpose. He did it on purpose.
What? They don't have to wait?
No, not with that stuff. That stuff they can serve you anywhere.
Are you kidding me?
You could be on the toilet at work. It doesn't matter.
And I just feel like that's bananas. That's the rudest thing. And the only reason I'm praying, just so y'all know, I hate StreamYard. I always feel like I've had a stroke because it's backwards. Like Zoom is not backwards. I know that if I'm touching the right side, I'm on the right side. But right now, it's like, it's like that whole thing. I can't figure out what side is on. Anyway, but yeah, it just ran across today, and and she got an envelope, and like apparently, according to the news story, the media I just don't love anymore. I love them less and less. The media is saying that people thought that somebody was handing her an unsolicited script. But apparently a journalist or someone could see that the envelope said personal and confidential, and it doesn't take a lot of digging to find out, because these things are everything I am to understand is a matter of public record. It's not as though.
Oh yeah, you can look me up.
Wow.
You really want to.
So it's not a private investigator giving her photos of like nudes of Jason Momoa to like catch him.
You said Jason Momoa.
Aquaman, eh?
So you guys are Jason's big now. They were. Then him and Lisa Bonet, their relationship, they were supposed to be parting ways, but they found their way.
Oh, they came back?
Yeah, that unless they've gone out again, but yeah, they came back. They decided maybe a week or two after the story broke, they decided that they would work things out.
That takes a special, if that's in fact what happened, and I'm gonna say this like straight up, that takes an act of selflessness that a lot of people aren't ready for. And saying that out loud, like, what the fuck is he talking about? Right? Because if they are going to make it work, they have to understand it's not about them anymore. It's about their children.
But Lisa Bonet, okay, now who are we talking about? Jason Sudeikis?
Anybody in that situation.
Oh, okay.
Especially if
I was going to say, because Jason Momoa and Lisa, as far as I know, do not have any children. So it's not.
I thought they did.
They're doing it right. I mean,
as far as I know, they don't, because they got together. All she has is
Zoe. Okay, so she already had previous kids.
She only has Zoe with
because he does have a son and a daughter. I don't know if they're with her or if they're with somebody else. So
I would say a full
that
stop.
I don't know.
But the two of them don't have any children.
Okay, so maybe it's from a previous.
Oh, so you're saying it's easier to marry somebody who already has kids, so you don't have to deal with it after, and have your kids before marriage. Like they're 100% yours before then, right?
So
just don't be together for 7 years.
Interestingly enough, speaking of people who already had kids, one of the rough situations, and they had gotten married though, was when Halle Berry and Eric Benet divorced.
That shit's crazy too. He gets alimony.
Because his daughter was not their daughter, but his daughter was young, and it was, what I read was that it was tough for her when they divorced.
Do you know if they were together over 7 years? Sorry, Dana. Do you know if they were together over 7 years?
I don't. I'm trying to learn now. I'm trying to just take a quick look at Lisa Bonet, and
if so, then there's another law for that. I forget what it's called, but if you're with someone not married, but it's still 7 years, there's still something, I forget what the hell, common law, I think it's what it's called. And then there's, if you're married, obviously divorce, and then if you have kids, it's a fucking car wreck.
You're right. Looks like they did have two.
Yeah, I thought they had at least two, a daughter and a son.
It says that they have.
Because I didn't
realize they had been together that long.
For a long time. Oh yeah, long.
I didn't know that. Like all this time, I thought they were a relatively new couple. No, you're exactly right. So Lola and Nicole, they have a son and a daughter.
Yeah.
The daughter's the oldest.
Oh yeah. So if they did get back together, I hope it's for the kids. I really do, because I'm a child of divorce. They got divorced when I was nearly 5. I wish there was things in my brain I could erase. I'll leave that at that. But it's really, really. I had to get therapy and psychologists and counselors, because it scars a child. That's
like the divorce thing. There's a movie I watched, and it was about some grown-ups getting divorced. Like I want to say Diane Keaton is in it. I think she's dating Alec Baldwin. I think she's divorcing.
Oh, I know what she's talking about. I don't remember the name, but it has Jack Nicholson also.
Right. So I think Jack Nicholson is in it, and it may not be Diane Keaton. I don't recall.
No, it's Diane Keaton, and there's another lady too, and they end up like.
And the kids were good and grown, Nishy, but they were falling apart. Like it, and I was just like, y'all, like because I don't have a connection to it. Like my mom died, so it's my situation is very different. And my dad did divorce my stepmom, but all of it, they honestly it was tough, but it just didn't seem like they were meant to be. And when it all shook down, and it's just that my dad, bless his heart, which is another conversation for another day. I don't think he wasn't ready to be married again. He, he just wasn't. He really wasn't. That's all I can say. For lots of reasons. So when they ended up divorcing, it wasn't, it didn't, it wasn't cool, but it didn't necessarily break my heart, if you know what I mean. But when I saw that movie, I was like, and I'm going to say this in love. I want to say this in real love. I want to look in the camera and say this. I was like, these white people are awfully fragile. Like, what's going on here? That y'all grown and your parents divorced and y'all I just couldn't. I may feel differently when I watch the movie now, but wherever I was as a person in my understanding, I was like, y'all grown. Like I could see if y'all were children and you were, and like how you all interact in a household together is now being completely turned upside down.
I think it's called It's Complicated. That's what it's called. I think it's called It's Complicated.
Okay, maybe. I'll have to look it up in a minute.
Yeah, I think that's what it's called.
Okay, but I was just like, y'all are having a fit. Y'all, that's all I kept thinking the whole time I was watching was y'all grown. Like, why is this so hard? Y'all are grown.
Oh yeah.
But maybe they had trust funds or something,
Well, it was. But what I can remember in the movie? What was a big deal was they still felt like, was this our fault? Because I know that's what riddles smaller children. Like, is it something like, did I do something? This is just again me as someone in the
No, you're correct. That's what my daughter said. No, you're correct.
That children think that it is their fault.
Yep.
And I'm just like, they're divorcing when y'all are adults. Like, it can't be your fault. You're grown. You don't live with them no more.
Right.
Like, what?
Get out of their business.
Right. Like there was funny stuff, and the actor who's married to Emily Blunt, I don't know, the British actress, that actor, very funny. He's a funny writer. He's a funny actor from The Office. Y'all know who I'm talking about. I think his name is,
Jim from The Office.
Oh, Steve Carell?
No.
No, it was the comedian guy.
Because he had a lot.
Chris
like
Pratt.
It was a period where he
Chris
was.
Pratt?
Huh?
Is it Chris Pratt?
Nope.
Nope.
I know who Chris Pratt is.
No.
Let me see. Married to Emily Blunt. Let's
John
John
Krasinski.
That dude. Yeah, the guy who directed A Quiet Place 1 and 2.
Yes.
With his wife as the star.
Yeah, that's right. And those are great movies too.
Yeah, I hear. That's what I hear.
Part 3 got greenlit. What's up?
I only saw
what's his name again?
John
Krasinski.
Yeah, Krasinski. Him.
Krasinski.
But he's in this movie. Now y'all gonna wear me out. Nishy, what's going on? Like, we were in this conversation. I think, okay, and then I'll say this. I promise. Like, my biggest fear, and again, I think I really got it from my dad because everything's my dad's fault. Is getting married and then someone divorcing me. I think because I have feared getting divorced more than I have wanted to get married, and I didn't realize it. Like, I still want to get married, as old as I am, but
a heart wants what it wants.
But divorce seems like it is so heartbreaking. Like, it seems like that is the ultimate heartbreak, and rejection is hard enough. I can't imagine being married to someone for some period of time and then them wake up one day like, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to do because in my mind, all I can think is, you don't want to be with me, and this whole thing hinges on that we wanted to be with each other, that I loved her. Like, so there's all kind of, divorce is literally like a monster to me. Like, it is literally a scary monster. I'm learning as I do my spiritual work, I'm realizing that my fear of divorce clearly was bigger than my desire for marriage. I didn't really, not consciously, but subconsciously. And it's likely why the marriage didn't happen.
I'm with you, and I can tell you the fear that you have is real. It's real. Hey man, I'll tell you, it's one of those things when you're married for a long time, if you don't practice being selfless and deeply, deeply compassionate, man, it's hard. It's really hard, right? Because that's the hardest thing is knowing not only do you have to take care of yourself, but you have to also make sure that you don't neglect yourself, keep everything fresh, make sure you work towards improving yourself, loving yourself, so you can genuinely love the other person, as cheesy as that shit sounds, and make sure that you really put in and this is a word not everybody wants to hear when it comes to marriage, but put in the work,
right?
And really, really have make time for quality time. If you don't make time for quality time, come around that 10-year mark, dude, you're done. You're done.
So Nishy, tell us about your successful marriage and new family. Tell us all about it.
Please, talking about selflessness, I am the Mother Teresa of wives. So
then you will be married forever.
I'm okay, I'll take that. I mean, I think it's just, I don't know. I think it's one person is always doing more work, whether it's somebody's doing more emotional work, someone's doing more financial, it's something that, and then if one person doesn't accept that, then it turns into an issue because they're like, well, I really want more of this. So I think it needs to be more of like, I mean, my parents should have got divorced. I'm just saying, like, it was very traumatic seeing how they dysfunctioned together. Like, they were not even close to being happy. My mom would get grossed out at my dad all the time. She'd be like, quit your chewing so loud, like that kind of stuff. And just, it was
like,
weird.
I'm afraid of all that because, like, that's another thing. Like,
don't get an arranged marriage. You'll be fine. They got arranged, and don't ever sign documents for marriage in exchange for goats.
There you go, right?
Because that's what they did. Yeah, and then they sacrificed the goats and ate them. And it was
everybody ate well that night.
I mean, if they would have if the task was to keep the goat alive, that would have taught them how they would do as a baby. So I proposed a new arranged marriage to India, and they didn't like it. But I said, instead of like slaughtering this poor little goat and exchanging, how about you raise a baby goat together for like a week, like a trial period? If you guys can't do it, then get the hell out of there. There's 9 other billion of you in the country. Go try. This should be goat week. Instead of spring break, goat week. Raise the goat. If you fail, you're not meant for each other. Okay. Because I cannot tell you, unfortunately for my husband, he changed a lot more diapers than I did. And I was more grossed out. And I think that's what kept us together, because I was like, he can deal with the stuff I couldn't deal with, because I got a C-section. I was like, I was in bed and I was covering, and he would be there up at night. He would do the bottle thing. He was like Mr. Mom, but then he has his, they have like an emotional fuse. Like at a certain point, it's like a Yankee candle. It gets too low, and then you're like, this is too much womaning for me. Like, I'm done. I can't really deal with it. And then that's where it comes on you. And then you're like, okay, then you really appreciate all the work that goes into it. But I think, and like, it's easy if you have somebody who's easy to amuse, because you just make them laugh all the time. They forget about everything. They forget that you make pasta 7 times a week and you don't know how to make good Pakistani food, and it burns their stomach. So I think the key is really friendship. Like, if it's not necessarily, like, oh, like, we're not doing good financially, or we have to establish, but like, all that stuff is very important. But I think if you're friends, you can get through anything.
I agree.
And if you don't chew loud, then you can get through anything. Because it's my biggest pet peeve. I'm so glad.
Oh, you too? You don't like the loud
I hate it.
Like, so So I want to say this to you, Nishy. I discovered, and I don't know where it came from. My stepmom was the one that actually noticed it, the one that my dad ended up divorcing. Like my sister and I don't know where we got it, and I don't know why we do it. And I've become very aware of it. When we drink from a glass, like we just drink a fluid, we make weird noises. Like there's this, and I don't know. Like I've become. I try
emptying. It's like when it's close to being empty. It's like,
but it's not like with a straw when you make that noise.
Oh, it's like wine.
No, like milk, like juice. Okay. Like I heard it. Like she was the one that brought it to attention because it was getting on her nerves, and I understand that. And then at some point later in my life, I really heard it. And I was like, and I literally said, "No one's gonna marry you." With like if someone does fall in love with you, bless your heart, and they hear this is because now by the time I get to a certain age and you're hearing the things that become deal breakers that weren't deal breakers when we started, but they become deal breakers because they get on your nerves. I was just like, oh my God. So like I honestly try to keep up with straws because I don't know, I'm not always present enough to remember to see if I can make sure I don't make the noise, but I don't do it if I'm drinking.
I gotta hear this, Dana. Eventually, I gotta hear this.
Well, hopefully you can come up with like a CPAP machine for straws or, drinking. Like it'll just but throw out compliments instead of the sound, But let me tell you this though, anybody who does put up with your stuff that you think is whatever, that person is the person that you're supposed to be with, because I know I have a lot of bad habits. I have a lot. And I'm like riding on maybe 80-20%. Most of me is bad habits. 20% is good. But like the 80% he can put up with. And it's like, okay, like this is working out well for me. So the tolerance level is what I'm saying. Because it's not, you shouldn't be living in fear like, oh, I'm going to, because bad things happen. But if you expect it, then I feel like personally that thing might come into existence because you're just kind of focused on that a little bit. But you know what I mean? So I just think like either that or just find somebody with very low self-esteem. That works.
You're like, lower your standards. Make sure he's got like a tick or an issue of some sort, and you're good. You're good.
No, she doesn't have to lower her standards. She just has to make him feel like he's like 5 when he's a 10. You know what I mean?
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
You're like, man, you trash.
Yeah, well, in a more manipulative way, like not your trash, but my family would never do that. I mean, we were civilized, and then really, okay, teach me your ways, and then boom, score.
Oh no, yeah, I saw a video on
said boom, score.
I saw a video on it was a video how this lady got in so much trouble by other women, and she's like, how to bend a man to your will, and that shit was fucking crazy.
Wait,
I'll say one of them. One of them was to fuck with his car, right? So you get in his car and you always tell him how bad it smells, no matter what. Because he's always gonna try to clean the car, try to make it smell nice. Because guys have a thing; they don't want their car smelling like shit. So this chick shows you in a video of her going on this date, and she keeps fucking with this dude. She's like, "What? It smells like fish in here. What's wrong with your car?" It's fucked up. There's other stuff
too. But
that's
dating, right? That you can't really do that after. We'd be like, oh, why don't you clean the goddamn car? Like, you're in the car, clean the car. It's like dating, you're actually trying to get the other person in your little hook,
Oh no, and so a guy saw the video, right? And so he did a comedy skit of a lady who was like that. He's like, hey, yeah, how you do? I'll post it on Instagram stories. I have to find it. He's like, yeah, hey, how you doing? She gets in the car. She's like, man, why your car stink? She just goes off on him. He's like, oh, okay. She's like, he tells her what restaurant they're going to. She's like, man, I ain't gonna eat there. Where are we gonna eat? And he looks at her and he's like, oh, I think we're at the restaurant right now. Here, let me look up you off. He takes off.
Oh wow. That's funny. As a sketch.
Oh yeah. She's like, yeah. We're gonna have to fix the smell in your car, and we're not eating at blah blah blah. I forget what she said, but and he was like, oh shit, because that's where he was gonna take her, and then he just drops her off. He's like, no.
That's wild. Wow. Well, Nisy, we want to know a lot about you. Like I talked a little bit about you, but let's like how did you start okay, let's form a question. How long have you been doing comedy and what made you start?
I have been doing, well, I started out in improv, so I don't know if you count that, but that was probably like 7 years ago. And
Nice.
then I did sketch. I was on the house team at Second City, doing sketches. And then I was like, I cannot do another bowling scene or Beatles scene with these people. I mean, I love them, but I was so sick of it. I'm like, I gotta get into stand up because I have a lot of things to say. So then, about I want to say 4 years ago, 4.5 years ago, I just went full on. Well, actually, for the last 3 years, I've been like, since pandemic, I'm like, boom, boom, boom. Before that, I was more like, just not really doing it full time.
Wow. I think so. As someone who is now, I feel like I've been doing both improv and sketch. I write more sketch. Not I wish I was doing more, but I certainly write. Like for 2 years and improv for 2 and comedy almost 3. I mean, I know that people don't necessarily count your improv time as stand-up time, but I think that those are such great ingredients for a comic.
Mm-hmm.
And they to me they just strengthen you. They're like vitamins or like superfoods or even adaptogens, all the things that we now do. But wow, so what was your first, like, did you start at an open mic? Did you end up on a show? Like, what was your first like kind of thing that you did?
Oh, my very first one was I just got booked on some show, and then I remember I talked so fast and did not give anyone a second to, like, because they were like, you have 5 minutes. I'm like, what? I only have 5 minutes. I didn't have like concepts of like comedic timing at that time, because I was like, oh yeah, I gotta tell you everything instantly because then you're gonna miss it. And then they're like, I would see them try to laugh, and then I would like, no, you're not gonna laugh. You're gonna listen to me. Like it was probably the worst show in the history of shows, because I wanted to like cram more in. But then after that, I was like, there was something gravely wrong with this. So then I started doing more mics and going to like, all the little skeezy places and stuff. And
Skeezy.
like let me build some armor for this craft. So yeah, I mean, it turned into like a full-time thing when I was like, wow, I can't stop writing. Like I had all these things from my past that, that I was like, I really want to share all this stuff. And it like helped me deal with the pain. It helped me deal with a lot of things that were like, Stefan was saying earlier, it was like therapeutic. But at the same time, I was like, yeah, it feels really good to make fun of my family. Like, cause they had it coming. It's been a while, because I was never really allowed to like speak up and say stuff, because I'm the youngest. My brothers are 8 and 11 years older than me. My mom had me when she was 40. So I'm like 2 generations away from them, and then a whole generation away from my brothers. And so
wow,
it was just, it felt like I had 5 parents over me all the time. And they would always tell me what to do. Like they got me my first job, and yes, nepotism is not always good. Just saying. Like they got me in, and I didn't have any qualification. Like I had a psychology degree, and I'm working in the IT department, and I'm like, what the heck is going on? Like none of it made sense. And
That's funny.
I hope my brother doesn't get in trouble for that, but whatever. He left that company. But it was so dumb. Like I had no clue what the heck I was doing, and I would literally just sit there and make fun of people and do memes. We would do roasts in the break room of all the managers, and they were just, and like, we would be watching like Mike Tyson mysteries in the laptop in the conference rooms, and one person would be on the lookout like, oh, somebody come see us, and give me the signal, bro. And so it was a lot of faking, like a lot. Like I was like, I am not made for this. I can't. And the only part of that job that I actually enjoyed was whenever they gave me a chance to go and do like a presentation and whatever, and we would have like our all hands meetings. And one time they made me write like a jokey rap type of thing for all the people on my team. And so I wrote 5 or 6 people raps, and they memorized it. We all did. We had like a little beat, and it was like the best show ever. It was like so much fun. And I was like, and nobody was even like, hey, maybe you shouldn't be here, because they were all afraid to like lose their jobs, because they're like, don't say that to the brown person, because then HR is going to come after you, like it was just so many layers of like fake personalities, and then people trying to keep their jobs. And then on top of that, like people really, some of the people really love accounting. I don't know how much you can love accounting, but man, you could love accounting enough to work there till you're 80 years old.
Wow.
And you're, yeah, it was just, I was like, oh, like and then I broke out into hives, and I went to the doctor, and the doctor's like, you're allergic to your job. And I was like, what? Like, yeah, if you stay there any longer, you're gonna have serious like health
issues. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
But
So I just left.
So wait, but I gotta ask this. But when a doctor says you're allergic to your job, like, like, is he saying that something in the carpet, something like, do they literally like, was the diagnosis literally that? And then like, I'm just, because I've heard that before.
Yeah.
And how do they unpack that? Do they say because of the environment, like, or like how did they arrive at that?
Well, they ask you, do you like your boss? No. Do you like the people you work with? No. Do you like what you do? No. Do you feel like you should be doing something else? I don't want to do anything. I want to like, I just want to be out of here. And but what happened was they gave me a bunch of tests, and they were like, okay, like you seem to be fine with, you don't have any food allergies, or you didn't eat any shrimp or whatever. But I had hives all over my body. And then the minute the doctor was like, so she was just casually asking me like, how's your job going? Or did you come from work or something like that? And the minute she said that, I like got hay fever. And I got like dizzy, and I was like, job? Oh, like, can we not talk about that for 5 seconds? And she's looking at me. She's like, wait. She's like, what's going on? Like, your heart rate is going up. Like, this thing. And she's like, oh, I see what it is. She told me I had PTSD. Like, I literally had PTSD. Like somebody who went to war, and
every day.
Yeah. And she was like, you're on high alert, and you have trauma. And I was like, dang, so are you saying I'm like a war veteran? Like, she's like, no, dude, like you were burning yourself out, because every time you imagine your boss or whatever it is, you get like a hay fever. And so that's when she came to the conclusion. She's like, yeah, you're allergic to she didn't say you're allergic to your job. She said you're allergic to working. Cause she asked me what else. And I was like, I don't want to do psychology. I hate psychology. I don't want to do like nothing seemed fulfilling to me, because I knew I wanted to write since I was a kid. I used to submit secretly to like creative writing contests and stuff, and I would always get chosen, and
wow.
And my parents would be like, that doesn't pay. That's stupid. This is a dumb story. Like, you can get paid building engineer architecture, and your uncle is like the top architecture. And I'm like, I don't know words bigger than 5 letters. Like, don't, like, because I was also dyslexic with numbers and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And I would cheat a lot on all my tests. Like, I had friends, I'd be like, hey, did you read Jane Eyre? I'm going to need those answers. They would pass me the answers. I never read Jane Eyre, or I just hated everything to do with school. The only time that I felt good was when I was like either like presenting something, or I got to do like a creative like play or performance, and they beat that out of me. They were like, no, you cannot download Janet Jackson songs from Google and practice them with your little kid friends. And it's like, why? Because they mentioned sex. And I was like, God, like, entertainment is evil was their their whole motto. And then they go to the movie theater and they watch the hell out of Denzel. I'm like, tell me why that makes sense. Why can he be like the best actor that he can capture these people, but like I can't even go after that dream, or I'm like the devil. And like, oh, you know, it's different. He's on the screen, and I'm like, that's what I want to do, you know.
But he was once somebody's child going to school, like trying to figure it out like everybody else. Before someone said do this thing. Wow.
Asian parents, man. I know.
Yeah, that's why you got that laugh.
Oh no, I know. Oh man.
You're Pakistani. Tell me
yes, but but I'm celebrating my 15-year anniversary on September 11th of becoming Mexican. I'm gonna have a quinceañera, so I don't like to claim Pakistan, is what I'm saying.
Okay, gotcha.
But were you okay? So because I'm just asking all the questions. You were were you born in the States or born in Pakistan?
I was born in a non-territorial part of Pakistan. So technically, I do not have a nationality, for the record, because it was in an unclaimed territory between India and Pakistan, which I could go take over with comedy money, you know, and then name it something like Comedia or something like you know what I mean?
You
like,
can name it Nishy.
I could name it Nishy, and then they'll know where to find me, and then they'll be like, but yeah, I was born in an unclaimed territory. My dad was in the military over there, and so we escaped because they wouldn't like release him or whatever. So, so when they came here, I think I was like 6 or maybe 6 years old. I can't remember, but it was like right at the cutoff of where I would pick up a perfect English accent. One more year later or 2 more years, I would have sounded like a fob for the rest of my life, you know, because both of my brothers have the thick accent, and but they brought me here, and I started watching The Simpsons. In 1 month, I learned English from The Simpsons and South Park, which I shouldn't have been watching at 6 years old, but it was pretty good English. So,
wow, American television. Like, it's interesting. I watched last night. I watched it. I always say I don't think I have attention issues, and then sometimes I wonder do I. But I was watching. But I was up late. I was watching, and it's a great interview. And Nisha, you should watch it. That Charlemagne the God from the Breakfast Club does with Quinta Brunson, and you guys know who Quinta is, right? Everybody knows who Quinta is. What? Come on, my fellow marginalized folks. So Abbott Elementary. Are you guys familiar with Abbott Elementary? The new ABC show that is like #1, doing extremely well. So all right, so let me just go back. All right, so Quinta Brunson she was actually a Viner. She was actually a Viner who built fame on Vine. And if you don't know what Vine is, Vine was this short-lived like platform where people were like, like they were, to me, they were original content creators. I feel as though, like, had there not been a Vine, because so much of the comedy influencers and comedy content creators, those were some of those people were Viners. They were people on Vine creating comedy videos before, and once Vine closed, you know, then Instagram became a home for these folks, and so whatever. So she was someone who built fame on Vine and then got cast to be in a Black Lady sketch show, which right?
I know.
Okay, so then in the midst of all that, she which I didn't know. I knew which one she was, but she was writing and secured a deal with ABC, wrote the pilot for Abbott Elementary, and now, you know, and got a budget equal to mainstream shows for whatever. But what was interesting about her story, and I know I've talked to this with Mayur Chauhan, who I miss. I was thinking about Mayur the other day. You know Mayur, Nishy, right? Yeah. I miss Mayur. Like, I miss him a lot. Like, I was, as another sidebar to the sidebar, I was looking at like some old photos of myself doing Zoom comedy, and there was one show, there was a set that I did on his show, like maybe the third time I was on Jokes from Home, and I was like, that was a really good set that you did, and I took a really good picture. I was like, Mayur, like, I put him on one of my shows, but I just haven't seen him. Anyhow, she obviously, like all African Americans, she grew up in this country, but she grew up Jehovah's Witness, which is like no birthdays, no, like they strip all these social constructs that we have in Christian religion and across culture. So no Christmas, no none of that, no birthdays, no nothing. But she talks about in the interview, she talks about how when she said her mother couldn't understand like BuzzFeed. She was just like, you're not making any money off of that. I don't know what you're doing.
Mhm.
And then when she got on Black Lady Sketch Show, she was like, you're on HBO. That's the sex channel. But now that she has Abbott Elementary, like her mother, she said her mother said, I'm proud of you. And she said, she doesn't know, like my mother hasn't told me she was proud of me since like I was in high school. Like,
Wow.
you know, and but her story is kind of similar. Like the biggest difference though, and it's interesting too, because she is the baby. The sibling above her is 8 years older.
Oh,
So,
wow.
and you know, and I think she's got 3 or 4. There's either 4 or 5 of them, and everybody is like she is that like the oldest is like 20 years old. Like her oldest brother is 20 years older than her. So it's like you said, it's these several generations. And she also talks about being parented by everybody.
Yep.
Like, because a couple of things happen in this country with children. Like parents who have kids, typically the first one, they've got all these, you know, they've read all the books, they do all the things, and then their first child, you can, and when you meet people, you can tell the difference between the oldest and the youngest, not by chronology, but that second one, they don't, parents is, we laid back, we did this, we don't, whatever. But she said it was the opposite because, you know, there were so many parents in the house because of her age. But her story is very powerful, and Abbott Elementary is just like it's the y'all look it up, like it is
Abbott. Okay, I'll look it up.
Yeah.
the bee's knees. It's a very good show.
Yeah.
And she named it for one of her favorite teachers. Her teacher was Mrs. Abbott, and so the show is called Abbott Elementary.
There you go.
Because her mother was like, but anyway, not to get too far off the topic, just to say that I always, and Nishy, you and I have had these conversations. I feel as though when I speak with, you know, like, you know, folks like you who are of, you know, immigrant descent, you know, in this country, I feel like a lot of times the stories, even as someone who's African American, born and raised, the stories are still, you can still find all these similarities because there are the ways in which minority groups in this country have had to build culture within side culture that still is on the sideline of mainstream American culture and still existing within. And so her story still sounds like yours from a religious, cultural point of view and all that good stuff. Anyhow, I also think you probably would like Abbott Elementary. I think y'all would like it.
Yeah, that
I'll
sounds
have
awesome.
to check it out. I did watch some of the sketch comedy show that you were talking about.
Black Lady Sketch Show.
Yeah, and there was some funny stuff on there. You know, they did a whole skit on ashy skin.
Oh my gosh! And I haven't. I watched first season. I watched some of second season. Like the second season, they came back hard. Like Angela Bassett and the basic.
Oh yeah, I think then maybe that's what.
Laverne Cox and like Angela Bassett was nominated for an Emmy for being in that sketch on that show.
No, yeah, they had one for oh God, what was it? Bad? Was it? I don't know if it was. I forget exactly what it was, but they're in some kind of room. It's Angela Bassett.
The support group. Yeah, you're right. It's not basic. It's the bad bitch support group. But that's
okay. There.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
That's
anyway, so Quincy got her start on that show. But anywho, Nishy, like I know, like we were supposed to go an hour, but I got questions.
No, we're good.
What was the inspiration for third world comedy? Like I'm so excited when I saw on Instagram where you guys have sold out all your shows there at Flappers and all that. That's like so dope. Like, what was the inspiration for that comedy show?
Basically to flip the distribution of comedians on its head. So it's like we have one token white guy and everybody else is like the colorful world of comedy, you know? So it's not necessarily like you don't have to be from like a poor country or anything. It's just we have different types of problems as immigrants and people around the world. So I call those third world problems because it's things that you wouldn't think of here. Like I don't know people that are more appreciative of food than like Pakistanis, you know, because it's like you deal with a famine or whatever. Like in America, that would never happen because they could get the chicken nugget down to like 1 cent per piece. And it's like, and it's going to be garbage and there will be problems, but but that was like kind of my thinking of, you know, let's do a show where it's, because there's so many diverse people in the audience. You know, we no longer have like an audience of just like one what is it called, demographic. So because of where we live also in LA, it's always different people. So how awesome would it be that if if some like Mexican comedian is talking about like getting slapped with their little chancla or whatever, and it's like that, and then somebody can relate to it, and they're like, oh my god, like I don't have to feel shame about that. Like they're actually making it funny. Because
Yeah.
before something like this, it's like everybody's making observations about, oh, Starbucks, what I really hate about it's like, who the hell cares? There's more to life than Starbucks. There's upbringing. There's things that are family matters. There's like social political issues that that we face outside of the US that are way more interesting and way weirder, and like talking about like going to a doctor in India, and like the first thing they ask you is, did somebody give you the evil eye? Like it's like this absurd world of like that needs to be revealed to people, like so that we don't feel like outsiders, because we're not outsiders. We're what make America. So why not highlight that and celebrate it? And that's what Third World Problems is all about. And I love like every comedian I've had on there. They're so dedicated that, they promote, they go out, they reach out to people personally because they want to fill the seats. Like they're super professional. And I give people a chance that probably haven't had as many shows or whatever. And they're very dedicated because they're like, I want to get out there. And that's what it's all about. Like, who gave me a chance? Unfortunately, it was my parents. They brought me to America. I still got to honor them for that and love them for that. And that's something that I can never repay them for. But like, that's kind of what I want to do. I want to put people on that I know they're hardworking. They want to, get the job done. They want to fill the seats. They want like the 360 of comedy, and they want to bring out a new flavor, so that instead of it always being weird and new and like out of place, it's like, oh yeah, I've heard of that. I've heard of the goat exchange ritual at Nishy's show. So like, it's no longer like a weird thing. Like I think it's crazy, So yeah, that's my show. And the next one is going to be on May 21st. May 21st. We have a little bit of an earlier time because Flappers changed their schedule, but it's 4:30. And then every third Saturday of the month from then on.
Dope. Tell us about your Peacock special.
Yeah, your special. That's awesome.
Peacock
Congratulations.
Special. Oh, thank you so much. Man, so that is going to be released on Sunday, May 1st. And
based on your socials, I thought it was out already. Like I didn't.
It's not out yet. It's going to be on Peacock on May 1st, and I don't know exactly how they're going to release it, like if it's going to be episode at a time or if it's going to be the whole thing. But we are having a release party on Sunday where I think all except 2 or 3 of the comedians that are on the show will be performing, and it's for free. And you guys can still RSVP. There's still like 12 tickets left. It's going to be in Glendale. And the producers and everybody who was involved, like mostly a lot of people that were involved will be there. And so that's happening Sunday, and I'm really excited about that.
Yay.
What time?
It's my first special, and I was like, oh my gosh, like I practiced for that special with a baby strapped to my chest, a newborn, and like and the wonderful beautiful people of LA let me go to their open mics with a baby on me and perform the sweaty mess that I was, and the hormonal mess that I was. And I was like, I couldn't have done it without that kind of support. Because, there's some mics, they're like, no babies allowed, no blah, blah, blah. And I understand that. But some people actually stepped out of their way, and they were like, hey, if you need to and your husband has work or whatever, I can actually watch your baby while you're on stage, and you make sure she's okay and she'll be in your view. And I was just like, I was just like so filled with gratitude, because I wouldn't have been able to rehearse as much as I did and get all my reps in,
Mm-hmm.
So that I'm like, this one's for the team, for the entire LA comedy scene, And then Dana, like, she booked me on shows, like, because I was getting right back into it, and she was like, you'd have me on your shows. And I'm like, like I really needed that stage time, because I lived in the valley. I was like far from everything. And then I was like, oh man, like who do I send my tape to? I haven't had a new tape in a while. Because we've been doing Zoom. So I really appreciate all of that. Like it's awesome. Your
I
show is
adore you,
great.
Nishy. I adore you. I feel like you're a kindred spirit, and we certainly were brought together. Like, was Dat Fan how we were brought together? Like how, or was it Mayor? I think it was Mayor.
Mayor, what? Oh, his online show. Is that what it was?
Jokes from home.
That is what it was. Yes.
That's how we met. Like, because here's the thing. At this point, it's all, a lot of it is a blur in terms, and I'm very much a person, and people who know me, because I don't know if it's the grudge holding part of me, but I can tell you everything down to the day of but with Zoom and the pandemic, like everything is so blurred. I just know who my friends are now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then trying to figure out, well, how did we meet? I don't really know. The only, and especially if we met like we did in the pandemic. Like, for example, like my whole the crew of Susan Wolf, Lynn's son, Jenny, all of them that I met at Dow, I actually met before the pandemic. So those lines aren't so blurry. Same. But everything else, so many relationships that I built in pandemic, which to me felt so strong. Even in the pandemic, like I got to meet Joanna Gosling about 2 months ago, and I met Joanna on a Mayor show. We ended up becoming friends, becoming Judy Carter comedy buddies. Like we would meet weekly last year on Zoom and go over jokes and the whole nine. So when we finally met in person, like it didn't feel like we were meeting, but that we were just getting together.
Right.
So, and I think it's the same. Like when we finally met in person, it was, for me, it's very seamless for everybody I met. So that's what's like, but I think I vaguely, if I'm not mistaken, I met you on the show, because I don't think I knew you before that show, but you can correct me. When y'all had this, when he had this show that was celebrating independence for South Asian countries, and it was all about, and so everybody. And it was, I won't lie, it was embarrassing because like I used to kind of, and I'll just be frank, I loved being on Mayor shows. And so I would hound him. And at the time I was still getting my legs of appropriateness. So like, you don't, like you try to kind of spread it out. You don't like try to beat people up to be on the same show over. And I didn't really know this. I just like, I like it here. I'd like to do this show again. And he put me on that show, but the show was all about like Pakistan, like independence for all of these countries. And I'm like the only Black person on here. And after a while, like after I started, I was like, oh, I'm the interloper at the barbecue. And I believe that might have been the show that we met, that we were on together. I believe, I'm not sure.
It might have been. Yeah. I don't remember any of the themes or anything, but yeah, you're right. It was, I don't think it was through Dat Fan.
Yeah.
But yeah, there were some people that I met actually before pandemic that I forgot that I knew them before pandemic. So I'm glad you remembered, because I like one of them, I just met her, like, I don't know, I met up with her I ran into her and she was like, oh, Nishy. And I'm like, oh my God, we're finally meeting. And she's like, what are you talking about? Like, we used to do mics all the time. And I'm like, oh shoot, my bad. So I don't like the whole time of being pregnant during pandemic and all that, I was not there. I was like, you know what I mean? I was just like sleeping like 12 hours a day. I would wake up for 2 hours to do the shows or the mics, and then write for another 3 or 4 hours, and then I'd just go right back to sleep. But yeah,
pregnancy slices you up, man. Pregnancy slices you up.
It was weird. I was like, I can't stay awake. I could not. There's nothing I could do. I didn't have like nausea or anything. I just was like a hibernating bear,
Honey, it's time for food. Oh!
Is the food ready yet?
Don't get me unless the food's ready to eat.
But no, we definitely, I know we met in pandemic, so you don't have to, but I and I'm excited, like I said, I love you and I love doing comedy with you. And also you're obviously, great comic, great producer, but like Nishy has a lot of great mics and stuff on Zoom. Like I feel like you definitely, I know that obviously once you came out into the world with the baby, but you definitely found the ways to get your reps in. And I think that's impressive too. Like there's nobody that can say that you can't do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, because you did it. I remember when we were. I remember it was either a Dat fan show you couldn't do because of the baby, or like it was the last Dat fan show you did before you had the baby. But you know what I'm saying? But like we saw you right up to the moment, and then we saw it all happen on social media platforms. We saw, okay, she's had the baby, but you know, blah blah, and sending you like well wishes, and then you know back
That's
out of
right. Were you on that show where my water broke?
I think I was.
I were.
I think I was.
Damn,
I was
that's
hosting.
crazy.
I was literally I held the mic. The minute I touched the mic, I was like, it was like, psh, and I'm like, oh my God, what just happened? And then I'm like, because it was my setup on Zoom. So I started getting freaked out. I'm like, I'm going to get electrocuted. Like I have to tell Dad right now because I don't know what to do with the wiring situation. And I texted him and I'm like, Dad, do you mind if I go to the hospital? And he's like, please do not stay on the mic. Like, I need you to go right now and call your husband and don't text me. Like, you know, just
like, don't die on my show.
Don't have a baby on my show.
Yeah, don't be like crowning on a Zoom show because that is against the Dat Fan rules, you know? So,
like,
but I ended up going back. Yeah, that was crazy. That was some crazy times. I mean, you're exactly right. And that's the truth. It's like you just once you get in that groove and you're like, I'm not gonna stop, I'm gonna keep doing it, that nothing can stop you. And you know, having a baby was a blessing because I could do more in a way. I have a capacity to do more because I don't have time to complain anymore. I don't have the energy to complain. I'm like, that takes words and that takes like drainage of my brain cells. So I just stopped. I'm like being appreciative of everything. And it's just like a new perspective because now I can't be ratchet anymore. You know, if I want to be ratchet, I'm like, I got a baby and I got to pave the way for her. If I do something stupid or ratchet, it's going to come back on her. So, yeah, it was great. And also meeting you and everything. And I just love having Dana as a friend. Like it's amazing. Always uplifting, always loving, always like filled with positive vibes and energy and super funny. Like I love watching your performances too. And she just goes up there and she's like drops the bomb of truth and you're like, oh my God, I did not think of it that way. But that's really what's happening.
Thank you. Those words mean a lot right now because I'm, you know, as we all are in our comedy careers, we're trying to like really elevate and get to these, you know, what everybody generally says next levels, but it's very real. And, you know, and sometimes it's to me, like, it's not easy because it's not easy to find your way all the time. And sometimes the next steps that elevate you or move you are not like everybody's journey is different. It's not always clear. And it's also can be very nuanced. I definitely don't want to sound like a screaming, crying baby, but like, just, I'm kind of in the midst of one of those moments. So everything you just said means a whole lot right now. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Of course. I love you tons. You're awesome.
The last time I saw you was at Fourth Wall.
Who, me?
You guys were, you were on a Dat Fan Fourth Wall thing and you were coming out and you gave me a hug. That was the last time I saw you.
That's right. Or was that the first time I've seen you?
I remember.
She said, was that the first time I've seen you? Wow.
Because I don't think we had did we ever do a mic together? I feel like we only did one.
I think all three of us were on, or maybe Dana wasn't. I'm not sure. I thought Dana was on the.
No, Dana wasn't
right.
on that one. You were there, and I remember you saying Dana wasn't coming, and then because I remember seeing you perform, but that was it. We literally did one mic, which is a hit record of mics that I've done with people.
Was that at the Fourth Wall?
It was at the Fourth Wall, yeah.
No, that same day Dana was coming. No, really? Dana was there. Oh yeah.
Was that the one that there was one day I went to the Fourth Wall and I was at the hour before, and when I was coming, a bunch of people were coming. Like when I was leaving, a bunch of people were coming and I couldn't stay for the second hour. Is that? I remember that was one of the first. That was back in April. That was one of the first times that when we first started kind of coming outdoors. I came to one and everybody was coming after, and I couldn't stay. I had been at the mic before, like me and like Tracy McGarry, or I think it's Tracy McGarry, and a bunch of, I know it's McGarry, Pam Pruitt McGarry. So there's a bunch of us who have been on this early one, But then I remember coming out, and I want to say all of you, all the people that I adore, y'all were coming to the second one, but I couldn't stay. And I was like, and it was my first time meeting Dad, and it was in this little tent outside of Fort Wall.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know that.
Yeah, I feel like you weren't there
at all. Okay, got it. Okay.
Yeah.
And that happens because at that time I hadn't bought my car, so I was I was renting cars because I had enough other work that I was just like, there's this great what's it called? Oh my God. It's this great car service where you basically pay everything up front. You pay through Apple or whatever, and you rent the car for the weekend. It's not, there's two of them. There's why can't I think of either of them? Because Get Around is Turo, yes. So I was at the time, that was April, I was renting cars through Turo. Like I was Get Around a little bit, but Turo I liked better. Turo had kind of better cars, or at least the people I was whatever. Anyway, total sidebar, we're out. Back to this conversation. Anyway, but thank you, Nishy. Everything you just said means everything. Thank you. Because I just admire, I just love watching your journey, and I'm just like, I'm trying to be, do all the good things as well.
Yeah. We're making moves, so
amen.
We're
going to close with one big question. We're making okay. So Netflix is a joke comedy special is in town, and we are all declaring that next year we're going to all, in the coming years we're going to be on that festival. But this year we're adjacent. We're not there yet. But what would be, of the comedians that you are aware of that are coming to town, and there are tons because it starts tonight. Who are the top 3 comedians you think you'd like to see during this current festival?
Oh, I would love to see Russell Peters. He is my favorite of all time. Just not because he's just Indian, but because he's everything. He's the first guy that I watched perform comedy, and my ribs were hurting so much.
Nice.
Like I was in pain, and I was like, I love this guy, and I don't know. This is something that I was like a fantasy of mine. I want to see Mindy Kaling do stand up because she's in the festival.
She's in the festival.
Yeah, she's doing it, but I don't know if she's doing like stand up or what's her
Yeah,
something.
It seems like it's a late addition. Whatever it is, it wasn't in the original schedule. It's newer. So I saw that. I know what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah, it was. So she's a hero just for writing The Office. I was just a freaking hero. And who else was that? Oh, I have a new favorite, Jessica Kirson.
Do you?
Yes.
Jessica. Jessica's cool people too. She's very sweet. She's relatively accessible. I find, I met her on Clubhouse, and then just kind of stayed in touch with her, kind of through Instagram, and watched her stuff. And then one day, because I listened to I listen. Not only do I listen to Netflix as a joke, but on the satellite, on the app, the SXM satellite app, they have an additional women's comedy channel, which you can't get in your car, but you can get it on your phone. And I heard this voice, and I was like, that sounds like Jessica. And I looked, and I was like, that's Jessica. So I hit her on Instagram, like, hey, I was listening, and I heard you on Instagram. Netflix is a joke. Da, 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 da. She's very funny and very, very funny.
Yeah, she's great. I love her act outs. I love all the faces. She's not afraid to do those faces and go get all crazy. And so I really love her. And then, and then if I get a token white guy, I would want to see Dimitri Martin, because I think he's just really out there. He comes up with stuff where I'm like, what? How the hell did he think of that? What was he? Is it drugs? Because I don't know why he thinks like that, but it's very entertaining.
Are they both on the festival by chance? Are Jessica and? Because I didn't know Jessica. We went through the whole thing. I've heard of Dimitri Martin, but I don't know.
Yeah. I don't. He might be on there, but I don't know if she's on there.
Right, and also because, interestingly enough, the Hollywood Improv is they have all of their shows have been kind of adopted into. So all of their weekly shows have been adopted. That's the only reason I was asking, because when you look at those shows, there's lots of people who, while they're not your big names, but they're part of the festival because they're whatever. Okay. Stefan, who would you want to see?
Ooh, okay. So I got another look at that damn thing. First 3 that came to my mind was obviously Chappelle. I've seen him twice already. I'd love to see him some more. I love Dave. Miss Pat, of course. You know how much I love Miss Pat. I love Miss Pat. She's so awesome. I am gonna go see Anthony Jeselnik shout out to my buddy who
Got your tickets.
yeah, he's just like, hey man, I can't go. You want them? I'm like, they need a home. What's up? But I was just looking at it a little while ago too, and I saw a lot more names. Obviously, Chris Rock's on there. I'm gonna go see him in November twice, but I'll go see him a third time. What's up?
Hey, but he's not part of the festival, right?
No, his name's on there.
Is it?
Yeah, I swear.
You got a date?
Shocked.
Okay, I didn't see, when we were going through the other night,
I'm pretty sure.
I didn't see his name. Okay.
Bill Burr,
Okay.
Bobby Lee, Big J Okerson, and I love Tom Segura. I know. I'm sorry.
Like and you've gone past 6. Not that it's been like
okay.
so. And also, I want to definitely let Nishy out of here. So I want to see, like, I saw, I want to see Janelle James. And everything she's doing is sold out. Like, I think I'm gonna get to go. She's on a happy hour event at the Palladium that's free next week. So I'm gonna go by that event before I go to the show. I'm on a show next Thursday, so I'm gonna go to that event and see if I can just see if she's. I don't know if she's is because it's not necessarily a show, but she's gonna be there at this free event. So Janelle James, Dave Chappelle, of course, because I've never seen him live and I'd like to. And then who would, like, the third is kind of, it's like you said, Stefan, it's tough because I saw that Verdas is performing, Mo Amir is performing, and Mo Amir is very funny to me. When you were talking earlier about like the commonalities and things in culture, and he was just talking about how he woke up one day with Bell's palsy, and they put I think he's Persian, I think, and everything is about olive oil. And olive oil is not going to fix everything, but that's what it's whatever. So that kind of, so when you talked about like, have you seen The Evil Eye? Like I immediately thought of him. But I like Verdas and I like Papa, like Tom Papa, I think his name is. I really, because I love Fortune Femster, but I don't know if Fortune is on the festival.
I think it's just the podcast she's on that's on there, right?
Right, yeah. But he's actually got a performance at the Regent, and so does Verdas. And I really like, say that again, Nishy?
Oh, she's on the Cake Show if you want some of her.
Oh, okay. But I listened to her and Papa's podcast on Netflix because I got it on the satellite, and I love their podcast. So I would, again, my top 3 would be Dave Chappelle, Janelle James. That third spot is like between Verdas and Papa, and maybe Mo Amir, but for sure Verdas, because Verdas really talks the way that he talks about things is the way that I talk about things, like kind of with this deep tissue kind of way. Like we take these. Like thank you that when you said I dropped the truth bombs, like, but I'm trying to get us into a big conversation about these things. Like, because right now what I'm cooking on is how freedom, like for a country that was allegedly founded on religious freedom, I feel like this country is one of the most religiously repressive places in the world. I mean, I hear saying, I know, and I say that, but by comparison, we're not. I get it. We're not where women can drive here, but no, like stonings. All of this, you can't say gay, and you can't, like, all this shit is bullshit. It's crazy. It's crazy. Like I'm like, so free speech, nothing. What do you mean? Like you can't say gay, but anyway. So like that's some material. But like I feel like when I listen to Verdas, I like where he goes. Like he talks about religion, but he unpacks it in this very funny way. And as someone who is, from an immigrant background, then he has this very wide breadth and a different lens through which he's criticizing. And I'll say criticizing Christianity, and he's looking at all the world religions, because other world religions look at other world religions. Christianity does not, but everybody, does. But everybody, whatever. I'm gonna make that a joke. Other world religions look at, but we do not. I'm gonna make that a joke.
I mean, I make fun of stuff that I probably don't want to say. I make fun of Islam, but I do. But
just be careful.
That's mine. That's mine. My third one is rotating like everybody else.
Yeah, is there? But you know what? I'm really surprised nobody said they want to see T.I. Come on, guys. Nobody wants.
Oh, he's on the festival.
I don't know. Or
is he just going to show up?
because here's the thing.
Sorry.
As wrong as he is, there are people who are giving him space. Like he's wrong as two left shoes, but I also fault people who.
I'm. Hey man, if you want to get up there for better or worse, bomb, not bomb, whatever. I mean, you're only gonna learn if you just get up there anyway. So
Right,
know.
but
I would want to see him perform a song though, because he has some fire music.
No, I love his music.
You know what I mean?
His music is good.
I've never heard him tell a joke, but I'm afraid to do that because I don't want to dislike him, or I don't want to like him for jokes, because that's too much. That's mixing too many things together. But I thought when you guys were asking about the 3 comedians, I thought you meant like new people or whatever. But I'm with all of you guys on Dave Chappelle all the way.
Okay.
But only if he does comedy though. Like sometimes he was like trailing off a little bit. I'm like, I want to hear his like fresh jokes that he used to have in his other specials. But yeah, I saw the sign at the Hollywood Bowl. It's Dave Chappelle and friends. And
oh yeah, Donnell Rawlings, baby.
Yeah, tonight, like, cause they're there tonight, tomorrow night, and Saturday. If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they're there. Yeah. So let's go set up a tent. Like we need more friends. Dave Chappelle, we're here.
Right,
that's right.
We're the and friends on the sidewalk right now.
That's right.
We're at the Hollywood Bowl on the sidewalk. That is, we're doing the sidewalk show.
Oh yes.
We could perform at the same time he is. I'm like, hey, guess what? Our show's at this time. And I don't know. That's getting a little bit too crazy. I don't want to stalk Dave Chappelle, but I would.
I would. I was gonna say I would. Like here's the thing, now because now that you've said, I'm like, could I go out there Saturday night and just like,
yes,
oh my God. Like if I went out there, do I like with I mean, could I get away with like having a PA and a mic or would we like so we could be heard? And I don't have any of these things, but I'm just saying, like, could I do this? Like, I don't know. Girl, if you want to do it, I'm not going to say I'm opposed. I can't pretend like I'm opposed because I don't have a show and I'm so mad. I was tutoring these crazy kids and somebody was calling me to replace them in a paid show and I didn't answer fast enough. Like I answered relatively quickly, but it wasn't fast enough.
Oh no.
So because mama needs all the coins. Mama needs all the stuff.
No, I got you. But even if we decide to go out there, we could either end up on the news and Dave Chappelle will see us and then he'll be like, these motherfuckers are funny. We're gonna put him on the show, or he could totally ban us, and then we'll go viral. So either way,
those motherfuckers out.
Either way, we win. Either way, we win.
Or let's try this. Next time he comes into town, or he's in Vegas, you guys want to go? Let me know, and I'll throw it on the credit card.
Okay. All right. Dang. All right, Divorcee. Do you think, brother? Where are we? Club D. But no, but seriously, Nishy, don't sleep, Nishy. I may call you because I'm not. I think it would be fun. Okay, confession session. I know we are out of time. I have been tempted to go out and tell jokes on the street and see what happens. Like I'm curious about that.
Get a little speaker with a mic.
Going out with a mic and just seeing exactly what would happen.
You could be I don't know, Jesus,
Joke Jesus.
You could be joke Jesus. Like he went out on the streets preaching. I'm out here telling jokes.
Girl,
your illness.
Okay, I'm writing that down. If you do not tell that joke, I'm going to tell that joke. Just know that you heard it here first. Because you said it. That's funny as hell to me. And I mean it.
I'm stealing joke Jesus.
I'm out here I'm turning water to wine, truth to joke. I don't know. There's something there. Right. There's something there. I do want to remark on this, and I promise I'm gonna try to land the plane. Because I feel like something you said that was so powerful and it's true for me. And I honestly felt like I wanted to speak to it, but I interrupted the talk so much. So I was just like, but I feel like in my head, I could write all the time. Everything is funny. Everything is material. Everything is a joke. I'm willing to try it. Even if it doesn't work well, I don't really care. And then I'm trying really hard because I'm not in a sketch class and I don't really I actually like sketch writing, but it feels easier when I'm in a class, or it feels easier if it's me and somebody. Now, I'm not necessarily soliciting you because I know you're busy and you have a circle, but I was looking over some old sketches and I was like, you're actually good at this, but you keep stopping because you have other things to do, but you should be writing sketches even, and I guess in my head, because I'm not producing them or whatever, I don't know what kind of stops me, but I was like, you should be writing more. So anyway, but I just want to say I'm very connected to that reality of like stuff is pouring out all the time. Like I can't get to my phone and to Otter and to record and to type like fast enough. And then when it comes time to cull it all, then I'm ready to pass out because I'm like, shit is everywhere. Like I've written.
Yeah. You gotta have like, if you have like a watch, I record like it doesn't matter what I'm doing. I just have one button here on my home screen. Boom, record. I say whatever the heck it is. People look at me weird in the grocery store line. I'm like, I gotta say it, you know? And then I just take that at the end of the week or at the end of the day, and then I like transcribe whatever it was, and then boom, it's you know what I mean? It's just everything. In the shower, I got like
Oh, you got the shower, dude, and the toilet, dude. That's where a lot of good stuff.
A lot in that toilet. A lot in that. I use an app called Otter, and what I'm gonna do is I pledge to like streamline the biggest challenge with Otter though is when I'm driving, I can't do it. So like Otter is this great app that like even though I should be really working for them and I don't, it records voice and transcribes, and you can export to paper. The challenge is though, if I'm driving, I'm plugged in, and if I'm getting directions, I can't talk into Otter because it's plugged into the car. And because it's cloud-based and I do carry my old iPhone, I can't record in Otter unless this one's on Wi-Fi. And if I'm driving, this one's not on Wi-Fi, and I can't record into Otter on this one. So that's how I then end up having to find alternative means.
You got a recording studio in your, basically is what it sounds like.
But I'm gonna get, that's an Apple Watch or
the Apple Watch, like with Otter, I've had 2 times where I tried to record something and something happened with the signal, the cell phone signal or something, and it didn't record at all. And I was like, so I just stopped. I was like, I don't know what to do about this. So my thing is voice memos. I have like 2,000 voice memos that are just constant, like shows everything where I'm just like double backing it up. But this relieves my anxiety. Because I'm
gonna do that then, because I'm gonna go to Target and get one as soon as I clear all the other the life hurdles of bills.
It's like Batgirl
and I'm in the clear with bills. Then I want to get one. But yeah, like I'm there. Voice recording is 1,500 on this phone.
There it is. Yeah, that's how it goes. I already have 800 on my new phone, and I have 2,000 on my other one. And I'm like,
and so here's, and I'm about to look on the new. That's the old phone. I'm gonna look on the new phone.
I probably got like 30 or 40.
But I'm gonna see what's on the new. It's bananas. Way more. Okay, so right now they're synced, so both of them read 1512, so 1,500. So yeah.
There you go. I mean, you're doing it already. Just keep it going, and just always do not ever buy yellow pens. The hell? Why? Like every time I reach for a pen, it's yellow, and then I'm like, what did I write? Like,
I can't read this.
Right. Lately I've been struggling with that, and I found some colored pencils. And so you say no yellow pens, I say no colored pencils, because you can't, like, they just don't.
No, I got permanent marker now, so everywhere I go, it's like I'm gonna write it, even if it ends up as a tattoo on my arm.
Well, thank you. That is what this is. We're all doing the right things, and thank you. That is another affirmative word to build my whole
Another thing you can do is go to Planet Fitness and take all the pens. They have a lot. I'm just saying they're purple, but
they write black. They don't write purple, right? They write.
No, mine writes purple.
Oh, they do. Okay, well, I'm gonna take at least one.
Anything you there for the pens or to work out?
No, the pens.
I love purple.
Like, hey, I just got done with the gym. Mind if I take a pen?
Yeah, man. They ain't gonna look.
That's a great tip. That's better than the Sharpie thing, because I don't want to look like Post Malone on my arms. Like, what the hell's going on with her? Why is she all tatted up? Like, these are jokes. I carry them.
So what upcoming shows do you have? Tell us about the upcoming shows you have.
Wow. I feel like I got caught off guard. Well, I'll be at the Improv this weekend, I think. So that's an upcoming show. I got my Flapper show on May 21st, my produced show. I'm gonna be doing shows all around town for, there's the one on Sunday for a Comedy Invasion release party. And yeah, I'm probably going to be at every club. So you're not going to, you might see me like in a tent next to Laugh Factory or something. So, I'm pretty much all over the place, but but yeah, all that stuff is on my Instagram or on my website. So
you guys, and you see it on here at Nishy XL on Instagram. Stefan, what you got coming up?
I gonna be doing a show. I don't have a date, but I know I have one coming up.
Okay. Right,
that doesn't help. But
okay, all right, with Carol Newell, I think you said, right?
There was, yeah, I think I'm gonna be, yeah, actually, yeah, that's true. I'm gonna be doing one with her. I did one this last week on Monday. It was, you know, it was good. It was good.
Okay, keep making way.
And then I got some other stuff coming up. Nothing I
Okay.
can give dates on yet, but it's coming.
Then that's awesome. So you may see me at the bowl on Saturday night on the sidewalk. But outside of that, I've got book shows next Tuesday, May 2nd at Berkshire House. Next Wednesday, May 3rd at La Pueblo, I think it's called the Brewery in Pasadena. On Thursday the 5th, I am at I did a show there with Mary Kennedy a couple weeks ago. I don't know the name of the place. It's like a music school in North Hollywood. On the 7th, I am with our girl, you guys, Lynn's son, at the Matriarch show at Comedy Chateau.
Yeah.
We've been to the Chateau in a minute, so I'm excited. On May the 12th, I am at Crack 'em Up Thursdays at the Comedy Store. So excited.
Ooh,
and even though we will be back here, before then, I am at the Improv with Sean Polofsky on May 19th. So I'm very excited. And I'm hosting a fundraiser for our Whitehall Arts Academy on May 15th. It's a Saturday at the Miracle Theater in Inglewood. And I'm doing a show on a Saturday night, which will be back. It's way in the end of the month. So we'll talk about that another time. But I'm really excited about everything that's coming up. And I may as well big it up now because we've all been talking about it. Laugh Right Girl Festival in June. I think it's June 9th through 12th or 7th through 12th. And North Carolina Comedy Festival, September 2nd.
Congratulations.
Nice.
Something. I don't know. Because a bunch of us, they just did acceptances. So all of our friends, you guys, Kelly Ann Zeneckis, Greg Benevent, who I'm doing the brewery show with. Who else is going down there? Y'all don't know. You know Buck, obviously, Stephen.
Oh yeah, Buck's awesome.
So we'll be in North Carolina together.
Buck's awesome.
And then so that's it. So just I'm a bit of a festival junkie. So I like this. I love community. I love it when we all come together and we're like locking arms and marching in the streets. Comedy now. Comedy now.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, you let me know. I will be there. Okay. I will because I really do want to I want to catch all the pros, as much as possible. I think this is a really great opportunity for all comedians, no matter what level they are, to do that, to actually be like, okay, what am I watching here, and like analyze and process and just have fun, because we don't really get to do that a lot. We just have to listen to a bunch of open micers most of the time, and then we're like, okay, we'll get like a cool celebrity or whatever, some really funny person on the lineup with us. But yeah, I'm gonna try to make that a goal of just, I know improv, they're really good about that. Like they'll just let comedians in but the problem is that they might be sold out for everything. But
it's worth a shot. I went to some show that some guy I never heard of, but the lineup was fire. It was like Ida Rodriguez and Ian Edwards and Godfrey and Neil Brennan and all these people. And I went there and it was like I'd gone and checked in. The free tickets were gone. The paid tickets were gone. Everything was gone. But there was a guy at the door. It's two guys at the door. And one of them I knew. The other one I didn't know. But the one I didn't know was like, he said, "You're a comic?" I said, "Yeah, I got you." And he wrapped me up.
Wow.
And then I saw somebody else in the line to go in. That was another comic that was like coming with me, and got to,
Wow.
Damn, that is perfect. Yeah. So if you guys want to take a chance or anything, I'm totally down for it. But I do gotta get going to a show right now.
Yes.
Oh Lord. Yes.
So
yes. We'll see everybody soon. Thank you so much, Nishi. Everybody have a great night. We'll see you the
so much for
Thursday
having
after
me.
next.
Love you, sis.
See ya.
Take care.